You're listening to Zap Night's Zap Chats, a monthly video game discussion. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Zap Chats. I'm your host, Danny.
I'm your co-host, Kaylee.
Kaylee, welcome.
Danny.
Another month.
Another Zap Chats.
What have you been playing lately?
I've been mostly playing Pokemon Arceus Legends.
Nice. I have been playing Horizon Forbidden West, and that has been phenomenal, as I expected it to be. I do have to say, though, that the story is not quite as intriguing as the last game. Like, Horizon Zero Dawn is the entrance to, like the introductory to the world and the characters and the, like, concept storyline stuff. And all that is already done. So, like, you don't have any of that initial wonder of the world where now it's just what's happening now. But, like, the first game had this, like, awe about it, of this, like, what did happen to the people and what, who what are these machines here for? Where this game doesn't have all of that, but it still looks beautiful and it plays really, really well. And it is like an extension to the first game. So to that extent, like, it still is really good, but I feel like the story in the first one was stronger.
How many hours you got in so far?
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe like 20, maybe. I'd say story-wise, I'm about halfway through the game, according to Lori, who's beat it. I mean, shoot, she beat it within the first week of it being out, so luckily she didn't spoil it too much. I told her to play it during me working, so yeah. So yeah, good stuff.
Nice.
So I don't really know what to talk about today. We have State of Play that we can talk about. Maybe a little bit of what we're planning on playing next, which tends to always change from month to month, but we'll talk about it. We'll see how it goes. So Sony did their State of Play like a couple days ago. I think it was on your birthday. By the way, Kaylee, happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm 25 again this year.
Ah, nice. Yeah. I turned 25 last year. I think I'm going to turn 25 again this year.
Nice.
Sometime around June. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know how our parents managed to work that one out, but
I mean, it must just run in our genes. I think mom just turned 25 last year too, so it's weird.
Wonderful. We're all the same age now, finally.
So yeah, State of Play came out. It was last Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, it would still be last Wednesday if you're listening to this when it launches or when this episode airs on the 15th. But yeah, the 9th. So, I'll kind of go through some of the games. We can talk about our thoughts about them. There's not a ton of them. The first game was, Exoprimal.
Dinosaur zombie game?
Yeah, the dinosaur zombie game. Kind of weird. I don't really know. I don't know. It's probably not a game that I'm super into, but somebody out there will be, I'm sure.
It's dinosaurs. You can't really go wrong with dinosaurs necessarily.
I suppose. Well, I mean, I guess you probably could. Yeah, you definitely could. The next one was Ghostwire, which actually looked really cool.
Yeah. Oh, it looked pretty cool.
It was like a first-person, like magical wielding first-person. Yeah, kind of a shooter game. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I'm totally down with that game. That looks pretty cool. It reminds me
interesting.
It reminds me of Infamous, where you're like shooting like lightning out of your hands.
Nice.
Anyway, Strangers of Paradise, which we knew was coming, that actually airs Friday, or that releases on Friday.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
This game is tough to me. Like, I want to be interested in it because it has the Final Fantasy title, but it just doesn't look that good. Like, it just doesn't.
Final Fantasy Dark Souls? You don't want to play it?
But is it though? Like, I don't know. It might be, but it might be really good too. Like, I don't know.
I think Brandon kind of wants to play it.
I also kind of want to play it, but I also kind of don't. So I don't know. Maybe if Brandon plays it and he likes it, maybe then we'll play it for a podcast episode. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the reviews turn out. So then the next one they talked about was Forspoken, which we got the announcement, I think just early last week, that they moved Forspoken from being released like March 25th out to October. So this actually makes a lot of sense because the game, they haven't been pushing this game marketing wise at all. So obviously they had been planning on pushing it out for a while now, but maybe they just locked down a date. But it works out in our favor just because we have other games that we want to play. So with it being in October, maybe we can work stuff around so we can play that as soon as it releases. But I'm really excited for the game. They did do a new trailer for it. It really just, I think it showed more of the gameplay more than anything else. Not much for story really at all. But the gameplay looks great. Like I was telling Kaylee before this, it looks just like if you merged Horizon Zero Dawn and Final Fantasy together. It looks like that kind of game. Like it's very action based. It's very like female perspective, but also like a badass female main character with this like, you know, awesome ability in the world. And I don't know, it looks cool. I'm excited for it. Next, they talked about a Gundam game. I mean, it's Gundams fighting.
Robots fighting with fleshy pilots.
Yeah, yep. Then they had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga collection. Looks really good. It looks like they're doing all of the like NES and SNES era games all into one like collection. I don't know what all they're going to release it on, but I mean, obviously it's in State of Play, so it's going to be on the Sony PS5 in some way, maybe PS4 as well. But I really want to see this as a physical edition, and I want it on the Switch. That's what I want. So yeah, I mean, has potential to be pretty cool. Then they went into Gaiga Blast? No, Bash. Gaiga Blast. This is like Final Fantasy 11 all over again. Sorry, it's Gigabash. Gigabash. It's really like a bunch of monsters fighting like 4-on-4 style, like arena style. It kind of looks like maybe a Godzilla game, like where all the monsters are really big and they're just like smashing around in the city. We actually did a thrift shop game of Godzilla not too long ago where it was just one-on-one, and it was like we were trotting around through the city like just beating each other up as monsters. So like it kind of looks like that, but on like a bigger like 4-player scale. Then they talked about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. They have like a All-Stars battle thing. Again, just a PvP fighter game, but based off of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which, I mean, if you're really into that anime, that's awesome, but I've not seen it, so like, whatever.
Yeah.
Then they did, Trek to Yomi. That was the black and white samurai game.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of had a cool aesthetic, but it looked very gory. So maybe not something Kaylee would be interested in.
No.
I don't know. Like, it looked very interesting. I'd be curious to know if they're gonna do like an English translation of the game, or if it's just gonna be like traditional Japanese movie style. That's kind of what it looks like. Looks like that's the direction they were going for. Was like a old like Japanese samurai cinema movie, you know? Then let's see, where's my list? Oh, Returnal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember this one. Oh yeah. This was the one that we said looked like if Final Fantasy Spirits Within made a movie, it would be this.
Oh yeah. It just Yeah.
It kind of looked like a Half-Life spin-off sort of deal. Like you're in the suit, like fighting aliens or something, climbing this tower, and like maybe the character dies every time and then she gets reborn into a new level. I don't know. It looked weird. Then we had Dio Field Chronicle, which was that Square Enix game. Not a fan of that. That looked like a mobile game, which is sad because, Square Enix, and we want to support Square Enix, but like make better games, Square Enix. So there's that. Then the like crown jewel, in my opinion, was the Valkyrie. I don't know how to pronounce this. Illisum?
Valkyrie profile.
EY or ELY. Elysium, yeah, that sounds right. So essentially, it's a Valkyrie profile game. The first Valkyrie profile came out in 1999, and then they made a second one that came out, I don't know, maybe 2005, somewhere in that time frame. And then they made one for the 3DS. That was Valkyrie Profile. Crap.
The Covenant Plume?
Yeah, that one.
Covenant of the Plume, something like that.
We haven't played any of them for the podcast. I think, did you beat Valkyrie Profile back in the day?
I never officially beat it. I got to the end, but I could never overcome the
final boss.
Actual final, yeah.
I played through maybe the first disc and then stopped. I mean, we never really owned the game until I got older, and then I bought a copy of the game for $30. If you look that up, that game is like $400 now. But we just rented it at the movie store like every week during the summer. So like that was a hot game for, I don't know, one summer in the early 2000s. So we had some nostalgia playing that game, and I'm really interested to play that game again and actually beat it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the end of State of Play, but that does lead into what we want to play coming up. Let me pull up my spreadsheet. Tentative schedule. So right now I have Horizon Forbidden West, which we're playing right now. We should have that one done by the end of the month so we can review that in April. So April 1st, look out for that podcast episode. Afterwards, we're going to start playing Pokemon Arceus. I'm really excited for that as well. I know that you've already been playing it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be picking that up. I'm planning on streaming that as well, so if you want to check that out. I mean, I'm streaming Forbidden West right now, so like obviously if you're into Forbidden West, you can check me out over there. But it's just Zap Night in Twitch, so if you look up Zap Night, you should be able to find me over there and follow along and hang out and say hi. But yeah, Pokemon Arceus, we'll start that in April. Next on the list was supposed to be Forspoken, because that was the original release date was in March, so we should have had it. No, you know what? I wrote down May. So maybe it was supposed to be in May that it was released originally. In any case, it's not releasing in May. It's releasing in October. So Forspoken will then be replaced with maybe Valkyrie Profile?
Maybe
Final Fantasy 12?
Maybe.
That's kind of the way, the direction we're thinking of heading. I mean, obviously that's a few months away. We would be playing that in June, so that's a few months away. Playing that game in June for July 1st podcast episode. But then obviously we'll move on from there, playing something else.
Yeah.
I really would like to get Valkyrie Profile in soon. I had made a stream layout and everything years ago, and then we abandoned the idea and moved on to something else. And every time it's like we get right on the verge of wanting to play it, and then it's like no, and then we play something else.
Well, I know it's a huge time commitment, but I don't know. Yeah, I am excited now to play it though. It's been enough time where I really want to play it.
I have down the Valkyrie profile is only a 40-hour game. Granted, that's like 50-hour in Danny and Kaylee time, but still, like, that's doable in a month. We could do it in a month and a half if we needed more time, but like, that's doable in a month, I feel like. I mean, I'm doing Horizon Forbidden West. I'll have that thing done, probably in real soon. Granted, I've been playing quite a bit, so, obviously having it done by the first shouldn't be a problem, but, I'm so excited to know the story that I'm like pushing through this game. Like the fact that I've gone through the weekend without playing it is surprising. So yeah, we'll have that thing done soon, and then we'll be moving on to Pokemon, and I'm really excited about that game too. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's kind of something. It. Oh yeah.
No, Chocobo GP.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm sad.
Okay, tell me the details.
Well, I have not read a whole lot, but a lot of people right now are upset because it is basically a $50 free-to-play game on the Switch, like a mobile game, but on the Switch. Because I guess it has got quite a few microtransactions within the game, and I don't know 100%, but I don't think it's necessary. But they've got it all over the place where you can advance further in the game faster kind of stuff. And I guess a lot of people are upset, not wanting their kids to be bugging them about all that stuff. But I guess as an apology, Square Enix said that they were going to hand out 500 Mithril points as an apology in regards to it. I think they're going to make some kind of formal word about it or something. But I thought it was kind of lame that the problem is the in-game currency, and their solution is, here, just have some in-game currency to make it better.
Yeah, that's kind of crappy. I was really excited when they announced this game quite a while ago, because what was the original? Chocobo...
Oh,
Chocobo Racing. Yeah. Chocobo Racing was so fun. In fact, I still have a copy of Chocobo Racing. It was the original. So we played Chocobo Racing from the movie store back in the day. I actually bought that copy from the movie store because they were liquidating a whole bunch of PlayStation games, and I'm like, ooh, I want this. It didn't have the cover or anything, but yeah, I have Chocobo Racing, and I loved that game. Like, we played the crap out of that game back in the day. So, to see this game come back with better graphics and, new tracks and all that, I was excited. But then to have this announcement that, it's...
Yeah, well, the way I understand it is they have the premium season passes in it. There's microtransactions like crazy, and I guess this premium currency, the Mithril points, actually have an expiration date. So if you purchase these points, they are perishable.
Man,
isn't that garbage?
I'm
sorry, but that's a huge cash grab right there. That's terrible.
It reminds me of the disappointment that was Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles when they re-released that on the Switch. Just Crystal Chronicles had such potential to be amazing, and Square Enix was like, we don't care. And oh man, that's so sad. Both of these games just doing it dirty. It just sucks. Yeah. It sucks.
It's disheartening. I was going to use this as the gateway game to introduce my kid to Final Fantasy.
Oh, nice.
Because he watched the trailer when it first dropped, and he was like, oh, I want that.
I mean,
I got the mobile app.
You can still play the original. I mean,
I suppose, but I mean, I don't want to spend $40-$50 on something that is a freaking mobile game with the Switch, for the Switch.
Yeah. No, I fully agree.
That's just garbage to me. Yeah. I don't know. I'm really disappointed. I'm irritated. It kind of goes back to where games are going as far as with, you have to purchase DLC to get the actual full game experience. And
honestly,
here's DLC because we put the whole freaking game in it. And pay us more money. You have to pay us more money. It's just bleeding us dry. And
I feel that is a problem with Nintendo games and a problem with Square Enix right now.
Yeah.
Like, Square Enix really messed up when it came to Final Fantasy 15 with the way that they did DLC was just wrong. The way that, like, for example, Horizon Zero Dawn, they did DLC, but the DLC was like its own storyline and its own mission set and everything. Like, it was just more of what you already love. And that's what DLC should be. You love the game so much that you just want more of it. And that's how DLC is done right. DLC done wrong is, hey, yeah, there's huge story plot holes in this, and if you want it, you gotta pay $30.
Yeah.
That's garbage.
Absolutely. I had this complaint with Animal Crossing. It's like they're giving you pretty much an incomplete game and being like, it'll come in DLC later, and sometimes you might have to buy that DLC. Now, to be fair, the Animal Crossing DLC that you bought, it came with its own, like, the Happy Home Designer stuff.
Yeah, and it's its own thing. Like, it's not necessary to enjoy the game, but yeah.
I have to wait for all of the, like, I want a complete, spend this, price tag for this, what should be a complete game, and they're not giving me a complete game for that price tag. I don't know.
I understand your complaint with Animal Crossing. However, I have this, like, love-hate feeling about it, because, like, I enjoy coming back to the game and having something new every time, but I feel like the base game should have been expanded on a little bit more to be enjoyable, and then expanded on more so when, with updates, where, like, they came out with the base game and it's really not great. Like, if you could have every minimum. Yeah, like, if you were to play that game without any updates, it would be kind of lame. Well, and now the updates make it a lot better, but it goes back to these games aren't now, now they're not future-proof. Like, there's no way to be able to put in your cartridge of Animal Crossing and have it a complete experience. You can with the DS version, you can with the Wii version, you can with the GameCube version, but the Switch version, no. If you require updates and the servers are down, you're out of luck. You're not going to be able to play that game. So that's a problem that our generation is going to have to deal with eventually with the video games that are being made right now and these constant updates. Like, what Nintendo should have done, in my opinion, they should have had a way to update the game on the cartridge.
Yeah.
Like, the cartridge sizes, they vary depending on the game, but, like, I've seen games that are like 50 gigs on those cartridges. So, like, I know that they can hold a lot of storage, probably not as much as it requires to play the game, but probably enough, like, zipped up to be able to have the complete game on one cartridge. Mm-hmm. So, like, they really should have that option to, update the cartridge to be playable later without having to pull down updates from the web. That's going to be a problem. I mean, we're already seeing it with PS3 games. They tried to shut down the PS3 network, and the fans, it almost ripped Sony's head off because of it, just because all these games that require downloads to be able to play are now unplayable. So they have to find a fix for that at some point.
I mean, we could sit here and talk about this topic the whole freaking night, because it's kind of a nightmare in a way. And I think really the hardest part is it's the only way to make it stop is to not buy the stuff. But it's hard when they're coming in. Like, it sucks because they know how to freaking money grab and milk us for all we're worth. It's just, it sucks. Like,
yeah.
I'm not going to buy Chocobo's GP now. Like, they gotta freaking make it worth it, because it's the same thing with, like, when we watched Kingsglaive and there was just Coleman stuff and, all this advertisement. It's like, I don't want to be advertised to in a freaking video game I spent all this money for. Why am I being advertised to?
Yeah. Yeah,
They
no, I
want
agree.
to slap these expensive price tags on these games, which I understand it takes a lot of manpower. You got, the graphics are amazing right now, and they've got to put a lot of time to get these games done. But then you're still milking us for more money and pushing microtransactions. Everyone hates watching ads when they're scrolling through on their phone. Why do we have to put up with it in our video games too?
Because we're used to it.
Yes, and it's garbage.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I mean, there's not going to be any way around it. The reality is they're going to take all the money they can from anywhere. Like if that's Coleman or Cup Noodle offering to sponsor something to put in your game, like they're gonna take full advantage of that if they possibly can. The thing is, though, I would much rather spend an extra $30 a game to have my game just done. No updates, no DLC, just give me the game, call it a day, leave me alone.
Well, as far as Chocobo GP is concerned, I realize that the point really is to be getting your money's worth, but I'm sorry, to me it reflects more as, hey, we've made this game super slow, and if it's not fast enough for you, you can pay us more to make it faster. Like, no, you need to not make a crappy game then. That's how it feels to me. You've intentionally made this slow.
It just depends on what the things are that you're paying for. Like, I didn't look this up, so I don't know. But if it is like, maybe it's just that you can skip chapters. Maybe it's they give you a cart that's really fast or something. But at any point that they're pushing the microtransactions, it just gives you a bad taste in your mouth.
In my opinion, it should not even exist in this kind of game. It just shouldn't. Microtransactions should go. Here's the appropriate purchasable DLC content for this game.
Right.
Downloadable characters, downloadable tracks. That's it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I shouldn't have to have mithril points to unlock things or proceed further or whatever it is for this. Like, it shouldn't even exist if I have to physically purchase it with my own my own currency.
Right.
Like, it's supposed to be for the game. Like, I've already bought the game. Why am I purchasing more stuff for my game?
Well, and I feel like they'll learn their lesson when nobody buys these kinds of games.
I'm guessing they are if they're making a formal apology, but still, to just give 500 more extra in-game currency points...
That's not fixing the problem. Yeah, that's not fixing the problem. You gotta do more about that. Yeah. Well, and again, no one's gonna want to buy it. But the problem with that, if no one buys Chocobo GP, that means that we were unhappy with that product. But that also means whenever Chocobo Racing comes up in a Square Enix platform, either the fans are going to freak out that it's going to be like Chocobo GP, or the developers are going to be like, but the last one flopped. So, essentially when they make these kinds of bad decisions, the franchise that it bases off of collapses. Yeah. So, look at Crystal Chronicles. They did that with Crystal Chronicles. They made it and it sucked. They didn't do the same with DLC. I'm sure they had some, but because they did it dirty, every time Crystal Chronicles is brought up now, either the fans are going to revolt or the developers aren't even going to take on the project thinking that, well, the last time we did that, it failed. So it's a lose for everyone when games turn out bad like that. It's just, it's a pity.
Yeah, that really is what it kind of just boils down to. It's just a freaking pity.
Yeah.
It's too bad. It really, Chocobo Racing was a cute game. I think, especially for Final Fantasy specifically, because we are hardcore fans. Like I said, I wanted to use this to introduce my kid to Final Fantasy. This was the gateway. And he was so, kids love Mario Kart. They love Mario. And this is Final Fantasy Mario Kart to my kid.
Right.
And it's just a pity. I don't know. I'm sad about it, as you can tell.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. It's the same for me. I was really excited for this game. I felt like Chocobo Racing really needed a new game to, really give us that experience in this day and age of good graphics and, these characters that are still loved and, in this new platform. But yeah, if you're gonna do the fans dirty like that, none of us are gonna. Nobody is gonna benefit from that kind of choice making.
Well, it does give me hope if they are acknowledging that the fan base is upset. If they're at least publicly acknowledging it, it it makes me feel a little bit better that at least some of us are making the statement of, no, I'm not. I mean, that's why I'm not purchasing it personally. I don't want to have to worry about this stuff, but at least there is a general outcry of, this is garbage. This should be a free to play mobile game with purchasable stuff, not this garbage. It shouldn't be on Switch if that's the case.
Yeah, or they deliver a full game that's complete and playable with add-on DLC that is literally just add-on.
There was so much potential that I was anticipating, and that's pretty sad. Yeah.
I mean, same thing went with Crystal Chronicles. I mean, we had the same conversation.
Yep, we really did. It's a shame. It's hitting us in the nostalgias for both of these games, and for it to do that it's sad. I mean, look at Strangers of Paradise too. I mean, not really looking forward to that game. Not really.
Well, and I think that they did that. I think they did that game funny just because their advertising really didn't clarify exactly what it is. Like, I think that's where my hesitation is on Strangers of Paradise. Like, I have no idea what this game is. Like, I have an idea. I have like a concept that potentially it could be like a retelling of Final Fantasy 1, which could be really cool, but like the way that they've done the advertising, I don't have any idea where they're going with this game. Is it going to be its own story? Is it just retelling of the original? Is it something else entirely? Like, I don't want to put my money down on something that is kind of a gamble, Where, to me, what's funny is Forspoken doesn't feel that way. Forspoken looks and feels like a finished product, where like Strangers of Paradise looks like it could be a finished product, but like, I don't know, like they haven't given us enough information to be excited about that game.
Yeah. But I mean, that's kind of how I felt about 16. I don't know. To me, I realize that there's not a whole lot of information, but if you're going to release a trailer, the point of the trailer is to make your fans excited. I'm not even excited for 16. Not really.
Well, again, that's a ways out yet. So, I mean, hopefully by the time 16 releases...
Final Fantasy in general, and I'm not too impressed right now. I was excited for 15. I know a lot of people aren't crazy about 15, but it still was like the last thing I remember being most excited about, because Crystal Chronicles flopped. Chocobo GP right now is looking like a flop. Not crazy about the Paradise game. And 16 is just kind of whatever. Of course, there's not much information. Right now, it's not looking good.
Well, isn't 14 supposed to be like really good?
I do take that back, but yes, but it's 14.
Yeah, I understand.
In my opinion.
I mean, honestly, when we start looking at 14, like that's just like 11, a behemoth of a game to concept, to try and conceptualize playing any of it. Like,
I'll tell you right now, though, I would much rather play Final Fantasy 14 than Strangers of Paradise.
I agree. I want to be excited for Strangers of Paradise because it's a Final Fantasy title, but like, I'm just not. And like, it really has... I really feel like it has a lot to do with the way that they've advertised it. Like, it just... They haven't put out a trailer that has been like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing. Like, there's just not enough information on it. And like, even then, this game is releasing literally next week. Like this week. Yeah. It's releasing this week. And like, I don't know anything about the story. Like, normally they do like a story trailer, and then they do like a gameplay trailer, and then they do like the original announcement trailer. So like, normally by now you have several trailers to give you an idea of what's going on in the game. And I have no idea. Like, I know the gameplay looks similar to like Final Fantasy 15, you know, that kind of action gameplay style, but like that's about it. Like, and otherwise I have no idea. So not enough information there for me to run out and get the game. Also, as far as I know, it's not physical release. So like that already turns me away. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how they handle 16. I mean, there's talk of there's very minuscule rumors going around that like potentially Sony could buy out Square Enix, and if that's the case, then who knows where the franchise will go. But I mean, you know, obviously that hasn't happened yet, and I don't. There's no official statement on anything like that. But you know, if that were to actually happen with the way that Sony and Microsoft have been buying studios, like it would be interesting to see where things are taken. But I mean, they're always going to keep making Final Fantasy games. They're always going to keep trying to expand on previously released Final Fantasy games. That the Strangers of Paradise thing isn't that surprising to me. I'm just more surprised that there's so little information on what this game really is. So until I get more information about it, then maybe I'll make a judgment call on if we want to try and play it. Maybe it'll get a ton of hype and it'll look really cool. But right now, I'm not super interested.
Oh, man.
You know, the good news is we still have all these nostalgia games to play. We still have all these great classic RPGs that we can pick up. We haven't even touched the Tales series, like, at all. So, like, there's so many games that we, you know, this podcast could go on forever. Like, there's so many games for us to be able to play that even if we never bought another game, you know, released from this point on, we have so many games in the backlog that are fantastic games to pick up and play. So I'm not worried about the future. They can't take those nostalgic games away from me. They can butcher the Final Fantasy VII story. They can do whatever they want to the Final Fantasy franchise, but you can't take away the originals. So they're still fantastic.
Fair enough.
All right. So, well, have we rambled on enough?
I think so.
Have we
let it all out?
Yeah, let it all out. Today was a very complainy kind of podcast episode. Guys, I'm so sorry.
Penting up. Sorry.
Well, hopefully Kaylee can get that released and we can move on to play some Pokemon Arceus next month. But guys, stay tuned. Coming up April 1st, Horizon Forbidden West. I'm pretty sure Lori's going to be doing that with me unless Kaylee can crank it out in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, guys, thanks again for listening to this podcast episode, and we'll talk to you next time.